Gotcha. And I'll let people in for you, so you don't have to be distracted by that, okay?
All right, welcome everybody. We ready? Good afternoon and welcome to our special breakout session. Selena and I are very excited and proud to be able to share the accomplishments of our SPARC leaders and a special student panel with Miss Selena Lopez as our moderator. First, we'd like to highlight those accomplishments. Here's
Good afternoon. So on this slide, we would like to highlight some of our SPARC students who've been accepted to four-year universities. We have Dulcia Lorena, who is the proud SPARC leader representing College of the Desert. She was accepted to Cal State San Bernardino. Miss Shannon Riley, who's here with us today. She is the proud SPARC leader of Shasta College, and she got accepted to Cal State Chico and Oregon State University. We also have Gina Houston, who's the proud SPARC leader for Fullerton City College. She was accepted to UC Davis and a semifinalist for the Jack Kent Cook Foundation. We also have Mike Estrada, who is the proud SPARC leader representing Citrus College, and he was accepted to Cal Poly Pomona and 4 other universities. Let's give a SPARC fingers to these students for their amazing accomplishments and the acceptance to these four-year universities.
Put that back. Here's some committees that some of our SPARC leaders are participating in. We have the advisory committee for AB. Selena, there's a bar at the top there. That's, yeah. Our budget committee with Mike Harold with Western Law and Poverty. We have quite a few participants in that one. We have our CalWORKs Association new podcast, CalWORKs Stories. And I'm personally on the Blue Shield Parenting Student Coveting Advisory Committee, me and another SPARC leader, Dana. And then we have our Community College League of California Women's Caucus panel. And I believe that was Shay. I can't see her name. Yeah, Shay.
We also have some amazing SPARC leaders and the work that they have been doing highlighted today. We have a fellow SPARC leader her name is Dana Marcel. She is the SPARC leader at Westfield College, Coalinga. Her story was actually published in the LA Times, which are amazing. Erin Edwards was able to highlight today in her intro as well. We have Anissa Flory, who's the SPARC leader at Paloma College. She was able to testify before the Health and Human Services Budget Committee. I want to give them a special shout out. And for Anissa, I remember the chair of the meeting also referred to her Power Ranger. And so kudos to Miss Anissa and her Power Ranger for testing on behalf of all of our SPARC students.
And here we have a few SPARC leaders that have actually been to Sacramento and testifying. Francisca Rubio, she testified as a parenting student for Cal Grants Reform, and she let us know that it passed. So that's exciting. And Glenda Brownwell was there for her support. Then we have Karina, who is on the Board of Governors, and she was selected from her college to be the advocate. So she was in Sacramento last week advocating. You want to go to slide 12, Selena?
So I am so excited to share with you. I am the proud SPARC leader of Los Angeles Southwest College, and I was able to give a celebratory speech in recognition of LASC receiving $1.5 million from Congresswoman Maxine Waters to fund special programs for formerly incarcerated students and the Family Resource Center for all parenting students at LASC. I am currently a commissioner for cultural affairs at Cal State Long Beach, and I will also be applying for my master program this fall of 2022. So we would like to introduce you today to some of our amazing SPARC leaders who are going to be here on the panel with us. I'm going to hand it off to Ms. Shannon Riley.
Hi, my name is Shannon Riley, and I represent Shasta College in Redding, California. I'm 38 and a single mom. My children are 5 and 3 years old. I began taking college classes in January 2018, and my intention was just to take 1 or 2 classes. I was managing a farm, and I wanted to take these classes to become better at what I was already doing. But after that first semester, I was inspired, and I decided that I wanted to get a degree. I took 2 summer classes in 2018. In July of 2018, I lost my farm and my home in a wildfire. This happened during my finals week in my summer classes. At the time, I had an 18-month-old to care for and was pregnant with my second child. I bounced around to different evacuation places, and I ultimately ended up staying in an RV park. I was there for many months following the fire. CalWORKs was a huge help during these times, and I had a little bit of money to keep a roof over my head. My whole life during that time was in shambles and having to deal with all of the issues that arise, such as lost paperwork, burned clothing and belongings, and getting my lost animals back was time-consuming and difficult. At one point, CalWORKs cut off my cash aid because I didn't have the proper immunization paperwork for one of my sons. And when I did turn in the right paperwork, which I had obtained from his doctor, it took months to reinstate my benefits. And through all of these trials in life, I continued going to school, sometimes taking only 1 or 2 classes a semester, but always continuing my academic journey, even through those trying times. In mid-2019, I was able to find better housing for myself, my son, and my new baby. I was so relieved to have a proper home for my little family. My children and I have turned our small home into a wonderful place full of laughter, learning, and love. It's nothing like my old home was, though, and I still miss it. The transition from a 10-acre farm to a small home in the city has been difficult for me. In 2020, I was able to begin taking full-time classes again, and I did so with enthusiasm. I got good grades, made the dean's list in multiple semesters, and accomplished my academic goals. In December 2021, I completed my animal science degree, and I was delighted to learn that I had also completed the coursework to receive an agriculture science degree as well. This spring of 2022, I'm completing the last of my classes to earn a certificate in agriculture, horticulture, irrigation. I have been accepted to 2 universities, Oregon State University and CSU Chico. I hope to attend Oregon State University because they have an online program that fits my life better and works well with my work and my children. Commuting to Chico for classes would be difficult and expensive, and because I am a single parent, I do not have anyone to rely on to pick kids up from daycare. At this time, I do not know how I am going to pay for it, but I am determined to complete my education. After all that I have endured, I am confident that I will find a way to succeed. Thank you, everyone. I will hand it off to Brian now.
Thank you so much, Shannon. Appreciate it. You're so inspirational. Appreciate it. Good day, everybody. For many, success may be defined by the achievements that come from the fruits of our labor. But for me, that looks a little different. You see, growing up, I was very conditioned to believe that success had to be what I could provide as a man, and not what dreams I can pursue for myself or my future family. As I tell this story, please keep in mind, I am already successful, because to me, success is following from taking the first step. And the goals, achievements, like my degree that I will receive, are just the start of new ventures. Hello, everybody. My name is Brian Olea. I am 23 years old, and I am a proud father of a beautiful 4-year-old little girl I call my little monkey. And here is how walking made me the composed person I am today. I was born in Los Angeles, California, Granada Hills, to be more exact. I don't have too many memories about LA. I know many of you guys would think that bare minimum, I'd remember LA traffic. Fortunately enough, I don't. Not too long after, when I was about 4, my family would end up moving to Fresno, as one of my family members offered my dad a job at a restaurant, which is where he began his cooking career. Growing up, I was surrounded by a lot of hardworking people that were my uncles, aunts, cousins, and of course, my mother and father. And there was also friends, but they came and went. You could probably say that we were a pretty big family. Both my mom and dad came to this country when they were 16 with a lot of family members in hopes for a better future. Most of my family members were either farmers or housewives. We would eventually live in a house, and it's at this house where I learned how to live with purpose. I struggled to understand at 13 years old why school was important, because I had no role model that had any success with school. But I was predetermined to be a very hardworking person. My school years were definitely difficult, as I got to experience some rough things like my mom and dad separating and getting evicted from the very first home we have ever lived in. But I didn't let those things define me. In my first 2 years of high school, I was heavily involved in band. I loved it because that's where I learned that no matter where you come from, music is universally understood. My last 2 years of high school was spent at another school where I found inspiration. These 2 years is where I knew I had to make my own path. And it's also the time where I met the love of my life. Growing up, I remember walking absolutely everywhere. I walked through sad places, happy places, fun places, very scary places, painful places, and some very inspiring places. At some point, among all my struggles, I knew I had to change my mindset if I want to be successful. So I told myself, what is really stopping me from getting to the places I want to go? And I found that it was always a matter of just taking the first step. Walking taught me to meditate my thoughts, to find what is important to me in life. It taught me that sometimes it helps to go outside and take in the air. It also taught me that all it takes is to walk in the direction that you want to go. And no matter the pace you go, you will get there as long as you stay determined. That determination didn't come easy, as I was challenged from birth to have a very defected life, as many of my family came to America with the idea that their purpose would be to send back a lot of their income back to Mexico. Today, I teach my siblings I caretake for not to worry about what they want to become or what they should be, but rather teach them that it's okay to take these short walks into the unknown. Those short walks will teach them through experience and to also make the time to listen to the environments they are in. I hope to show my daughter the same thing by example of what can be possible. With the right mindset, you can achieve anything. Thank you. Okay, Genesis, the floor is all yours.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Shannon, too, for sharing your stories. And thank you for having me here today. My name is Genesis Foster, and I'm the student leader, SPARC leader for Los Angeles City College. I first want to say that this moment right here is actually symbolic of the goal of this year's theme for me. Short backstory, while I love people, I'm usually very quiet and would rather just sit at home and be by myself or with my family. Having overcome a lot of trauma and tragedy in my life from the age of 3, I was on the brink of losing my mind. I'm the mother of 4 and grandmother of 1. I am a student parent. Prior to my deciding to come back to college, I was facing homelessness due to the ridiculously priced rent increases that are now only getting higher everywhere. I was welcomed into my father's home with my family. Having been in the Inland Empire for 20 years, I was back at home in Los Angeles. At that time, I had been looking for a place with the Housing Authority Section 8 Housing Choice Voucher Program but I couldn't find anything suitable or safe for that matter, for my family. Having waited over 10 years to get approved, I was faced with losing my voucher and being placed back on the waiting list. I was devastated. I could either continue to look for a place and not bother with school until I was settled in my new place, or I could just go back to school and let the rest work itself out. Talk about stepping out on faith. I did just that. I enrolled in summer classes at LACC, and upon applying for CalWORKs, that particular day, they were having a meeting, and the host was Dr. Nina Smart, whose topic was finish what you start. Side note on how spirit works, she later told me that she didn't know what her topic would be until that morning when the topic came to her. So mind you, I had previously been in and out of school due to work and family responsibilities and was never able to complete 2 consecutive semesters. This workshop planted the seed and motivated me to the point that I am now 2 semesters away from being able to transfer, having earned my degree in real estate. I am finishing what I started, despite life's challenges. Later, I signed up for the Dream, Achieve, Succeed Academy. We call it DAS Academy, led by Mr. Garcia, our CalWORKs director at LACC. And I earned a certificate of completion for Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People and the Speed of Trust. I was so full of trauma, I almost walked out of the 3-week course on the first day because I didn't trust people. And I thought that it had something to do with letting people fall back and they catch you when you fall back. And I wasn't ready for that by any means. So once he informed me that it wasn't that type of trust, I decided to stay, and I'm so glad that I did. Upon completion of DAS Academy, we had a speed interviewing session with 10 of the department heads, and I was selected by more than 6 of the 10, I was told. This was the first time that I realized I was capable of so much more than I had given myself credit for. Others saw things in me that I had failed to recognize and reminded me of things that I had simply lost sight of while dealing with my trauma. I was nervous. I didn't expect to be chosen by anyone for a variety of reasons. I was wrong. I stood out. That moment made me start paying attention to my abilities much more carefully. I began my work study assignment and continued to do good in school, earning several scholarships and grants along the way that I didn't expect to get, one of which was the Student Voices Scholarship. Then COVID hit. While working from home, I was asked to introduce a guest speaker from Washington, D.C. At least I'm not working with her on that project. And so I turned out to kind of work it. And I was asked to introduce her in an online workshop. Towards the middle of the pandemic, I was nominated for the position of representative in Project SPARC. And while nervous, I agreed to participate. I was now a representative for all student parents on our campus. And this was a responsibility that I never thought would be entrusted to me, little old traumatized me. Well, let me tell you, since becoming a SPARC leader, I have researched and created presentations, one of which promoted a lobbyist, Mike Harrell, to urge us SPARC to present to the squad, as we call them, and make policy budget recommendations for what we were presenting within 1 month. Our goal was within 2 years. Never would I have imagined that my name would be on a budget proposal in Washington, D.C. I also had the opportunity to meet actor-director Tim Robbins, who advised me on how to tell my story, trauma and all, without allowing people to tell me how to tell my story. My asking one question prompted a response from each cast member on the call that night. The conversation was amazing and inspiring. I had heard about this conference, but had never attended one and didn't plan on attending because I thought it was in person and I wasn't really ready for that. Then surprisingly, I was asked to be on this panel and I signed up to present one of our guest speakers. So here I sit, a late registrant and on the student panel, and later presenting a powerful guest speaker. As I sat in reflection and contemplated the theme, I realized that this year's theme couldn't be any more appropriate because not only has CalWORKs helped me discover my voice, but it has also allowed me to grow and continue to learn skills that will further aid me in stepping into my power. I am no longer a victim of my traumatic experiences. I am growing into my power. Thank you. And I will now pass it over to Yomai.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Yomaira Ceballos. I represent Modesto Junior College. proud Spark leader for Modesto Junior College. I am a single mother of 2 beautiful kids, and I'm very honored to tell you my story. So let me just pull it out real quick. Okay. So my history with CalWORKs goes back for quite some time. I started when I just had my son, and I dreamed to move us forward in life. I would be on and off aid throughout the last 10 years because the amount of time that I needed to spend doing my welfare to work activities was taking too much from my son. Though I needed the activities were helpful, they were not giving me the experiences in the field, and they weren't expanding my knowledge. Further than learning how to be a good interviewer, learning how to dress for an interview, or creating a cover letter and resume. Granted, those are great skills to have and maintain, but I wanted more. I wanted to learn new skills. I wanted to learn a new line of work, and I wanted to get some different kind of work experience. Every time that my caseworkers would change, I would always ask if I had the option to go to school. Unfortunately for me, it was always met with a no. Repeatedly, no. It was always pushed on me to go straight into the workforce and find a sustainable job in the time that it was given to me. Because it didn't help, and I didn't get any help, I ended up overworking at jobs that didn't pay me much at all, and I was spending all my time away from my son. While struggling to make ends meet and move forward in life, I ended up in a toxic, domestically violent relationship that lasted for years. No one offered me help aside from threatening to take my aid away if I missed my welfare to work activities. Meanwhile, I'm fighting every day to survive and to get to my classes in order to keep my assistance. This went on until finally my case was transferred back to Modesto, and I got a new worker. For the first time since I had been receiving aid, I felt seen. While she was looking through my case, she kept asking me questions about myself, and she looked at me and said, "What do you want to do with your life?" And I just told her, "I want to help people. That's all I want to do is just help people. I've tried applying for the county, but I just don't have the education for it." Well, she looked at me. I'm sorry, gotta find my place again. She looked at me and said, "We can help you go to school. We can help you through that." And I looked at her just shocked because she was giving me the option. And I told her how many times I was told no, and how many times I asked. And she gave me a confused look, and she said, "There's absolutely no reason why you shouldn't be able to go to school." Finally, I had hope for a different future. From there, I went straight to Modesto Junior College, and I applied for the CalWORKs program. But I didn't know that I had to apply for the school first and then the program. So I applied for the school, then I came back, they explained everything to me. They were very nice there. They explained everything to me. They helped me step by step throughout the whole process. And then later on, I met with our counselor on October 31st. I met with our counselor, planned out my ed plan, and started my journey. Not only was I able to start my full classes the next semester, the spring semester of 2020, but I got a job in the CalWORKs department as a student worker. That alone, to me, I just went in to apply for a job as a student worker. I had no idea I was going to be a part of the CalWORKs program, so that was amazing. This is not to say that my life got easier. No, it was finally changing for the better. The pandemic hit right as I was starting my classes and my new job, bringing new challenges to my life, including, but not limited to, working from home, the kids doing school from home, babysitting my 2 nieces, and on top of doing school. But unlike other challenges that I faced in my life, I was welcoming these challenges because I knew it was something better on the other side. Now I'm finishing my 2nd year, and I have almost a 4.0. When I talked to the transfer center, they said I am able to transfer to any university in the state that I want. I qualify. I'm a part of the SPARC program for this, making big changes for all of the families in the state. And I got student of the year this year, finally being recognized for something, you know? So nothing but great things have been happening, just like the theme of this whole program, stepping into my power. I'm finally stepping into my power. And so I want to pass it over to Selena. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much. I'm in awe of every single one of you. I love you all. You guys inspire me, and you are going to be changing the world. And I just feel blessed to be a part of that journey, a little small part of that journey, to watch you guys blossom. So thank you so much for sharing and being vulnerable. And I'm going to pass it on to Miss Selena.
Yes, thank you, Spark students. You guys are amazing. You're phenomenal parents, phenomenal people. I am so grateful to have met you and have this relationship with you. And so moving forward, we are going to go into our student panel. So for the first question is, if CalWORKs could give you one thing to step into your power, what would that be? Shannon, would you like to answer that first?
I think that more than anything, if CalWORKs could give me one thing, it would be to help me get my bachelor's degree. I have fought so hard and I've come this far, and I can't give up now. And all I want is an opportunity to better myself. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Brian, would you like to answer that? If CalWORKs could give you one thing to step into your power, what would that be?
When I honestly, after putting some thought into it, one of the things I thought back was orientation. It would be interesting to see a tour orientation around the campus. But yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Genesis, if CalWORKs could give you one thing to step into your power, what would that be?
Well, because they've given me so much already, I think at this point, the only thing that would be missing, I would say, would be maybe a connection or a way to connect with the students that I represent at LACC. We need to have I don't know how, I'm not sure if our students even know, who I am or what we do, or, so a way to introduce or connect us to the students that we represent so that we can include their voices.
Ms. Genesis, you're very,
Also, I'm on the same channel. We are assistance beyond what.
so I guess she's having some technical difficulties. We'll come back to her. Ms. Yomira, if CalWORKs could give you one thing to step into your power, what would that be?
I would have to say continued support. Continued support after we graduate from community college. We definitely don't want to stop there. We want to continue going and see how far we can go. See how far we can get. We don't want to go back to what we're doing. We don't want to stop.
Thank you, thank you. Ms. Genesis, are we good to go with the connection?
Let's test it and see. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I don't know how much you heard before it got all choppy. So somebody want to let me know?
You can go ahead and answer again.
Okay, basically, I was just saying that we need a way to connect our student leaders with our students that we represent on campus. We need to be able to include their voice into the work that we're doing, and that will allow us to just be more powerful as a unit because we're speaking for all of our students. Thank you.
So thank you, amazing Spark leaders. That is some great takeaways, some great key points, and hopefully we could ideate this and put it into some of our research and prototype it, some of the HCD language. And so moving forward for Shannon, what has been the most memorable experience as a parenting student?
I think my most memorable and also my most proud experience was when I found out I was getting 2 degrees instead of 1 with the classes that I had already taken.
Yes, yes, I could relate 100%. When I see the list of degrees and certificates, it's just amazing. Miss Brian, Mr. Brian.
For sure. I think the most memorable thing, a little back on this, It's when I remember asking my daughter to pick something up. She gave me with the littlest of sassiness that she said, I can't pick that up because I have homework to do. So that's one of the most memorable things I have.
Definitely. My son likes to hit me with that a lot. I'll tell him to go do a chore and he's like, no, I have homework. I'm like, okay, I can't complain with homework. So Miss Genesis.
Okay. So a little quick history. I was a teenage parent. I got pregnant when I was 15 years old. I had my first son 1 month after turning 16, but I graduated from high school on my 18th birthday with my children, with my son and my family right there with me. And so that was my greatest accomplishment so far. The next one will be having my family there, especially my father, to see me earn my bachelor's degree. That's the next goal. Thank you.
Yes, yes. Yo, Myra.
I would say the day that I found out that not only am I going to graduate, when I graduate, I'll be graduating with like, my psychology associates of psychology, but also my human services. So that's two. And I told my son about it, and I was telling him how I can transfer to any university in the state. And his eyes got really big, and he was just like, "You're so smart, Mom. Like, I'm so proud of you." And, for him to say something like that, like, he's only 10, but still, like, I was like, wow, see, babe, you can do it too. So that to me, that's my most memorable.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing that. Miss Lisa, I'm gonna hand it off to you.
Great job, guys. And Yomara, even though he's 10, he's soaking up everything. Doesn't matter how small they are. They're going to remember this lifelong. Okay, so our third question, and I'll start with you, Shannon. Who is relying on your success and achievements to have a better life and more opportunities?
Myself and my children more than anyone, but beyond that, I would say my parents too, because I struggled a lot earlier in life, and things are finally coming full circle for me. I'm finally beginning to see the success that I should have been striving for years ago.
Very good. Brian, would you like me to repeat the question?
To me, my daughter, she didn't have a choice to be in this world. So I owe it to her to be the best version of me. Thank you. Sorry. Thank you.
Stop making me cry, you guys.
You guys are so inspirational. Okay, Genesis, let me know if you need me to repeat the question.
I got it. Thank you. So when my grandfather passed away in 2004, he asked me to promise on his deathbed that I would get making 20 years to do it, and I haven't given it. So outside of me, and I know he's with me and I know he's proud of me, besides him and my grandmothers, my children, of course, they're not only, looking to me, but they're also building and creating their own. I have two adult children as well. And so they are, they're my motivations. But most importantly, like right now, it's important to me that my father sees that I accomplished my goal. He didn't think I'd be able to do it after I got pregnant as a teenager. Not only did I graduate on my birthday, but I didn't give up. 20 years to decide to go back to school, that was big for me. And so for my father to see that I did it, stuck with it, and achieved it is why I'm working so hard right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Genesis. That was beautiful. We are so proud of you. All right, Miss Yomira.
Kind of like what Shannon said, myself and my kids. I think I owe it to myself to finish and everything, because I've been through a lot and I deserve it. I deserve to finally be who I was meant to be and do what I'm meant to do. So that's what I'm gonna do. Thank you.
Thank you, Yomira. You guys are doing so good. Okay, we got 2 more questions, so I'll ask you guys the next one. What advice would you give to other parenting students? We'll start with you, Shannon.
One day at a time. Sometimes things are unbearable and it's really hard to just get through the day, let alone think about your future. And don't ever give up, but just take it one day at a time. Thank you.
Good job. Brian?
I would have to say, don't be discouraged of failing. In the words of Dwayne Johnson, failure is not an option. It's just a step.
Love that. Genesis?
Okay, so I kind of couldn't pick just one, so bear with me. So I would say don't give up and finish what you start. My grandmother used to tell me, we do what we have to do now so we can do what we want to do later. And so I would pass that on as well. Love yourself as much as you love your children and families, and you'll fight just as hard for you as you do for them. Self-love is the key. Stay the course and you'll win the race. Just keep your focus on you and your goals and don't allow distractions or deviations from your plan or set goals. Stay focused, move forward, and you can do it. Thank you.
It was great, Genesis. Thank you. All right, Yomira.
I would say just don't give up. Even if you take one class a semester or whatever it is you have to do, don't give up and have some compassion on yourself, because it is overwhelming, especially when you have kids and you have so much to do, so much to think about, doctor's appointments, dentist appointments, like so much to do. Just be compassionate to yourself and give yourself some respect and love and grace. Thank you.
Thank you. You guys give some great advice.
So thank you.
All right.
So for our last question, we would really like for you to think about the response and think as if you were talking to somebody that does not know nothing about CalWORKs or about college. And so the question is, what would you say to someone receiving CalWORKs benefits and that is thinking of going to college? So let's go in the order of Miss Yomira, and then let's follow back up to Shannon.
Yes, I'm just kidding. I would say do it. Definitely do it. Do it because you get to be introduced to so many different people with so many different perspectives. You get to learn so many different things, and then these people you surround yourself with are encouraging you. They see you doing so much more than what you think you're capable of. And I know that's my experience. People around me always tell me how good I'm doing and always encourage me even when I don't see it. So just do it, get involved in the CalWORKs program, get involved with people, just get out there. Do it, definitely do it. Thank you.
Thank you. Miss Genesis Foster.
Okay, so I'm right there with you, Yomira. That was my first line. Just do it. Like, just do it. Don't wait, do it now. Be willing to learn and have fun doing it. Your perspective and your goals will push you further than you realize. Your reasons and motivations have to be in the right place. I'd say if you only want to get a refund check, don't waste your time. If you're serious about changing your life and building a better future, it starts with your education. We all have to start somewhere, and there's a starting point for all of us in education. They'll meet you where you are and help build you into the position you want for yourself. You just have to want it and be dedicated to the learning process. Give yourself and your family a fighting chance at life through education. That's what I would say.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. Brian?
This one was hard because I had a lot of things to go through, but for the first one, it's there's there's no better way, first off, to beat the system than to get educated. So go do it, just like everyone has said it. There's plenty of opportunities for you to pay your bills through it. So you could, and second, college is the best thing you can do for your child or your children. Best thing, and your children will thank you in the future. Yeah.
And Miss Shannon, last but not least.
I think I would tell them to don't hesitate and do it. So school is really hard, and it sounds like such a daunting task to, be in CalWORKs and raise kids and go to school all at the same time. But the rewards that you reap are well worth it. And I think that school is a pathway to a better future for yourself and for your children. And I also think that if you are able to break that cycle of poverty for your family and children, then you should do it.
Thank you. Thank you. Last and final thing, I have one popcorn question for everybody. If you could share one word about yourself, what would that be? And we could start off, whoever would like to go first.
Determined.
Feel free to unmute yourself and go ahead.
So I'll steal from our one of our Friday meeting sparkers, resilient.
For me, it'll have to be diligent.
And persistent.
Awesome. Thank you so much, amazing Spark leaders, for one, sharing your story with us today. I know from experience that it can be very difficult at times to go back and share those chapters of your life, but you are amazing. You are appreciated. You are seen. You are heard. Like I mentioned earlier today, this space was for you to grow a little bit more and step into your power. And I hope that you were able to do that. And now we're going to move to a Q&A. So if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to say it in the chat. If anybody wants to help me with the chat questions, feel free.
Selena, you have a hand up from Maddie.
Yes, go ahead, Maddie.
First of all, thank you all so much for being so vulnerable with us and sharing your lives with us. It takes a special kind of strength to do that. So good job, you guys. I have a pointed question for Mr. Brian. So my campus struggles with, not intentionally, but we struggle with welcoming male students to our program. They always seem to either shy away from our programs. How can we make our spaces more CalWORK dad friendly?
Unfortunately, this is a constant struggle because a lot of the things are very more in the direction of the decision of the women. So it would take a really strong relationship between the significant other and the male, of course. For me, what caught my attention was I was able to give an education opportunity to my partner. That's where it all started. I mean, as soon as I was in, it was inspiring, but I don't know if I could speak for all others, but that's what worked for me. It's definitely, hopefully that's great.
I just wonder before we go to Michael, if Brandon wants to chime in too.
What I noticed for us males at our campus, I think it's a bravado, especially for the males. We have that type of that mentality, like, oh, we can handle it ourselves, and so that's our problem when it comes to like trying to get males into our program. Is that they either just want to do it themselves, they just don't want the help, and I think it's just a stigma that we just need to change.
Thank you, Brandon and Brian and Maddie, for those questions. It definitely brings awareness that we need to uplift our fathers in these programs because they are usually not seen and not heard. And so that's why we commend both Brian and Brandon today, because they're amazing sparkers that are right there with us fighting for our change. And so moving to our next question, Mr. Michael.
Yeah, great panel. I appreciate your comments and your sharing. It inspires me for sure. Just even, and reminds me why it's still good to come into work for sure, and to be willing to push and change and do something different. So I despite the challenges, because you all bear the fruit of it and what's possible. So I thank you. I was curious with any of the leaders or with Aaron. I had saw that there was, I mean, I had wanted to send 2 people to the Project SPARC, but it was only 1 per campus. So at the beginning of this session today, I saw the announcement, you know, about 2 SPARC, 2 leaders from each. And I'm like, and I was like, wait a minute, I thought it was only 1. So are you all gearing up for the next phase, and you all need more? You all need more soldiers? What's going on? So just curious.
We changed that 2 weeks ago.
Ah.
So yes, we are inviting every college across the state to hire 2 CalWORKs student workers to be Project SPARC leaders with us.
Okay.
And join this amazing group. No, it's not even a group, a community of CalWORKs students.
Yeah, most definitely. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any more comment or questions for either our SPARC leaders or our wonderful president? Go ahead, Erin.
I just want to say, can everybody here feel the energy in this Zoom room? You feel it, right? Like it's palpable, it's different. This is this. Go ahead.
Magic that happens with Project SPARC.
Yes. It's not just it's a really good Zoom breakout, but this is what SPARC is. This feeling, it's really something that these student leaders and others have built. And it's a real opportunity for other CalWORKs students to join this group of students and this spirit. And so I wanted to see what the panel had, maybe would want to share about what the experience of the Friday meetings are like. Like what happens on Fridays. Friday's always my favorite day now, but is it yours and why?
That would be helpful. Thank you.
I'll chime in. I love our Friday meetings, and the most important part for all of us is the morning music and prompts. That's where we really get to connect with one another, and we've had full-on crying sessions, we've had laughter, we've just had encouragement, happiness. I mean, every emotion you can think of, you know, we've experienced it, and we've really bonded. And I think I've told this to Aaron before. Sometimes I feel like, sorry, my daughter's doing my makeup. I feel that we are closer. We're like a family, you know what I mean? And like Selena, Yomira, like I have everyone's number. We reach out to each other, you know? So on that level alone, it's a great experience. But we are learning a lot. And these things that we're learning, we get to take with us. Once Project SPARC is over and we move on, we take our friendships, and we also take what we've learned, the skills that we've learned, you know, time management, responsibility, commitment, and also learning about what other people have gone through. So a lot of networking, a lot of questions. Hey, I went through this, or I've been through that. This is what I did. So we've been able to really help, you know, build people up and help them along in their journey. And on top of that, we have the most amazing mentors that are guiding us with just such ease. And we know it's not easy for Aaron and Blanca and Civic Makers. You know what I mean? Like, they're dealing with all these people, all these personalities. So it's a great experience, and we get to work with amazing people. So if anybody is interested, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity, because the stuff that we're recommending, the stuff we're researching, I mean, some of this stuff is already going to legislation. Our Spark students are on the steps of Sacramento. Stuff is happening. We're not just sitting here talking, we're doing. So I just love it. So thank you guys. That's my take on it.
For my take, and I know I wasn't on the panel, the moderator, but I have to share, and I don't want to cry. I didn't have a family really growing up, and I never had anybody to look towards when I needed support. And I tell you that Project SPARC is my support. If I need to talk to somebody, whether it be 10 o'clock at night, because it was my mom's anniversary of her passing, my Sparkers are there for me. And that's what Project SPARC has given me, a family to have support from and to care for me and love me and hug me. Even though we're virtual, these people are amazing. They surprise me every day. And so that's what Project SPARC and my Friday meetings have given me. Thank you. Sochi, go ahead. I didn't want to cry, damn it.
So for me, the Friday meetings have been a life changer. They have opened up my eyes that my word does matter, my opinion does matter, and that, you know, with confidence, courage, and with having good mentors on our side and good people willing to help us, we could overcome many challenges. I think I was, you know, I didn't believe in myself, but being in Spark and seeing that my ideas matter and they, you know, being used and being implemented and being changed, I think I love it. I just love being able to bring new ideas to the table, suggestions, and seeing that people are kind of like, wow, yeah, it makes sense. Why not, you know? And then seeing that they're being implemented or changes are being made. I love that. Like everybody has shared, we're a big family. I think since day one, we kind of all share the same struggles, similar difficulties within the system and within ourselves. I think we all fought, we didn't have courage, we didn't have a voice, we were lost within ourselves. We didn't know how to speak or ask. So now that we're Spark leaders, I don't think no one's gonna be able to stop us or, you know, say no to us anymore. So yeah.
Does anyone else get the feeling that our future keynote speakers in this room?
Thank you, thank you.
Let me check and see if I'm having difficulties. Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you, Genesis.
Okay. So I'll say this. As I said before, I was more of a loner. A lot of the things that I had to learn about, you know, being a young girl, being a woman, I kind of had to figure out on my own. My mom, you know, she did the best she could, but she couldn't teach me everything. And so for me, the Friday meetings are not only a chance for me to kind of open up and come out of my shell, but it's an opportunity for me to learn from the experiences of others, and to kind of grow from the things that they share and open up with. The fact that everybody is vulnerable with each other and they trust each other with that vulnerability is something that there's no word to explain what it does for a person who is totally isolated. Like when I tell you I don't go out, it's the house and my family, that's it. You know, so Friday meetings are like this opportunity. Sorry, there was a net. Friday meetings are like this opportunity for me to get out of my comfort zone and allow people into my world, and at the same time feel safe and know that it's a safe space. So even though we're working and we're, you know, building and we're, you know, creating this wonderful project, we're also helping, learning, and building from each other. And to me, that's very important. Thank you.
Does someone want to explain Spark Fingers?
I'm like, can I do it before I talk? Instead of clap, because we always, you know, we're all mute. So instead of clapping, we do spark fingers anytime we want to clap. That's why you see us waving around. But I want to say that Spark, what Spark has given me is, like how Genesis was saying, is a safe space. And how you know, Selena and Lisa and Brian and Sochi, what they were saying, it's like I've never in my entire life have I met a group of people that are so compassionate. They're so empathetic, where they care about giving you space to feel what you need to feel, to giving you space to say what you need to say without feeling any shame, without feeling any embarrassment, without feeling anything, nothing, literally nothing but love. And as we're going through the process, each, you know, the human-centered design process, we're learning more about how to keep ourselves out of the when we're coming up with questions, we're keeping our feelings out of it, trying to kind of see what other people are feeling, make sure we're on the right track and everything. But when everybody puts their input, they kind of keep us, like, you know, on track. Oh yeah, but do they feel that way, or do we feel this way, or is that the problem, or is this the problem? You know, it's a never ending questions. We're always thinking about other people, and that's like the whole. I love everybody here. I'm so happy that I'm a part of it. I'm so glad that I got to be appointed to be Spark leader for Modesto Junior College and meet everyone. Like Lisa said, we're all really, really close, and we're a Spark family. Anybody who wants to join, it's a great place to be.
I wanted to chime in one last time that, you know, there's such a stigma around CalWORKs recipients and welfare, and people think we're ignorant, stupid, we don't want to work. There's just all these different discriminations against people that are on the system. And obviously before I was on the system, I didn't know a lot of people on welfare, but being around, you know, 50 plus Spark leaders that are all welfare recipients, I am in awe of how smart every single one of these people are. They're innovative, they have great ideas. I mean, you know, it's just like, it's just playing level that is above and beyond, you know, and I wish and I hope that someday our nation can see us for who we really are. We're just as hard working as anybody else. Our story is just a little different, is all that is. But I'm just in awe of everyone's genius, brilliance, and every cohort, every showcase. It's just like, we're professionals, you know. I wouldn't look at you guys and be like, oh, you know, you're on foods. I'm like, no, you guys are amazing. We're all amazing. So we all need to remember that. We're having those doubts that, like I always say, other people's opinion is not our truth. Thank you.
Can I just add something, since we have 1 more minute and there's no more questions? So you see what's happening with these students. They are taking off in ways that we never imagined. And in Spark, we need to recruit more what we call mentors. So more people who work in community colleges to be involved in Project SPARC, to support our students doing all the incredible things that they're doing. So if you're at all interested, send me an email. We can invite you to our Friday meetings. We can get you involved. You don't have to come every Friday. Sometimes there's just a group of students working on a project and they just need someone to say, like, oh, here's the email I wrote for this project. How does this look? It's always perfect, by the way, but they just sometimes want someone to say, like, oh yeah, that looks good, go ahead and send it. So we do need more Spark mentors to help us with the program. So please reach out to me if you're interested in getting involved in this incredible group of CalWORKs students.
Thank you everyone for joining us today. It was our pleasure to be here and have this panel. On that note, I just wanted to leave with some happy music so that everybody can get uplifted and continue the rest of their day. Thank you.
You can take a break.